Hello there. Hello. That's an inelegant point at which to bring you in. Well, welcome.
Talking about toilets, Jessica Chastain.
Well,
The toilet's in. Why I used the toilet before I came in.
yeah,
You've got sort of 5 Live pumped out everywhere you go in here. You can't escape it.
That's right.
Why doesn't it do it in the toilet?
well, it's in the lifts, isn't it? I don't know why it doesn't do
You
it.
want it in the toilet, I think.
I think people would sit down too long. They wouldn't leave.
Right, thank you, Jessica.
Good point.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the best review you've ever had. Isn't it? Yeah.
I need to hear your show on the toilet.
Do you know they do that in Japan on the toilets there? There's a button you press and it sounds like you're flushing it so you don't worry about other people hearing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's good,
So
isn't
what
it?
you do? You're just constantly flushing a toilet.
Yeah, but you're not. It's a sound effect. It's a little button.
But why not a different sound effect? Why not people screaming? The sound of torture. What? You know what I mean? It's arbitrary, isn't it?
Right, it's Jessica's turn now, isn't it? We're running a bit short, eh?
Jessica Chastain is already. You're in an enormous number of films that are coming up. You're in The Debt, which is about to be released, which is an outstanding film with a remarkable performance by you. You've got to see The Debt. It's about a cell of Mossad agents in the 1960s that go Nazi hunting.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Fantastic.
And Jessica starred opposite Brad Pitt in The Tree of Life by Terrence Malick recently. And everyone on the planet will probably know your name within about a year. But meanwhile, I spoke to you last night at the premiere and you were quite excited. And that's an understatement about meeting Ricky and Karl.
No.
Have you downloaded the podcast?
Yeah, I've actually.
No, this is just awkward.
No, it's really awkward. It's really embarrassing
You
now.
don't have to, I know, because
No,
you
I
was just being
swear.
polite last night,
No,
and now
no,
he's making
I
a big
remember
deal.
the podcast about like you guys talking about Brokeback Mountain, and I mean, there's really, I'm
did.
such a fan,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I saw you at Madison Square Garden.
Oh wow.
So, you know, it's funny.
Hang on,
you
this
know,
is like your bucket list. You're meeting an
exactly.
idol.
I never really thought that I would meet you guys.
I think it's going too far.
Wait, but that means also I'm about to die, right? If it's a bucket list.
You're like him.
Well,
It
we're
doesn't
all
mean
dying.
that. He thought it meant things to do immediately before you die.
It does mean that.
No, it means to do things to do in your life.
No.
Who's going to run round when they're feeling sick, jumping in dolphins and fighting Eskimos?
That's the point of a bucket
Having
list.
sex on aeroplanes.
It's like, all right, I've got 6 months to live. This is what I'm going to do before I die.
Really?
That's what a bucket list is.
There you go.
Ricky, it's 3 o'clock.
Hold on, though. Are you saying people are... no.
It's time for the news.
It's time for the news. Ricky,
Is
you've
that-
got to go.
keep
I haven't
the
even
bucket
mentioned...
list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought keep
Right,
the bucket as things to do before you die. You've got
Keep the bucket.
You should.
Thanks for
Yeah, I
having
know. No.
Carl's walking out.
Bye, everyone.
Ricky, do you want to do 5 more minutes? Talk about Life's Too Short. It's up to you. Unless you've got to
Okay,
go.
I'll just very quickly wipe for that. Okay, sure.
Okay, we're going to do 5 minutes of news, then 5
Sure.
minutes chat.
Okay. Sure.
Do you want a picture of Ricky?
Yeah, if you can.
Take it during the news. Right, Ricky Gervais is still here, and we'll talk
Fascinating radio. It's like we are talking amongst ourselves. I mean, it's like they've forgotten that this is broadcasting. That is the best. I totally agree. That is the best radio.
On digital and
Ricky Gervais is still here. Jessica Chastain is with me, star of The Debt and The Tree of Life. Ricky, do you want to do some texts from people commenting on the last hour?
Oh, go on.
When Karl was here. Karl's left now. I'm laughing so much I can't breathe.
That's what Karl does to me, though. I think people don't get it. That when you're in a room with him, and I get this sort of all day. I feel so privileged. I don't know anyone like him. I just cannot get enough of him. He's the first phone call I make. He's like a backdrop to my existence. If I'm watching television and it's on Channel 5 and it's like the baby born with 2 heads, right? I call Karl and he answers the phone like this. Weird, isn't it? So now I know he's watching it. So now I'm watching it and I'm getting double whammy because I call him, what do you think of that? And he texts me. It's just, he's remarkable. He's got a different outlook on everything. Just that thing about the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
It's straight away to, I don't even like using it as a toilet. Yeah. You know, it's just got a lovely
He's got an instant perspective on it.
He's got an original and instant. He sees the world differently.
When you've listened to the podcast, Jessica, have you ever thought, some people think, oh, Karl's a bit of an act. Have you ever thought that?
This is the first time I've met him. No, I actually didn't think he was an act because he just seems so deadpan and honest and.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That is it.
And also, everyone's got a mate like that. They just haven't got a mate like me to get them on telly.
Dear Richard, please tell Karl I can't wait for the new series. I love the last one. I watched it. I was heavily pregnant at the time, and I laughed so much I went into labour.
Excellent.
Carl, you're a different class. At last, somebody on telly worth watching. You're witty, insightful and intelligent. I had to pull my car over. I'm laughing my head off. I want Carl as a mate, says John in Cambridgeshire.
Exactly.
And so it goes on. Ricky, let's talk about Life's Too Short, which is your new comedy that you've written with Stephen Merchant, starring Warwick Davis. What is the premise exactly?
It's a return to the fake documentary. If The Office was one of those sort of reflected those docu-soaps, those quaint docu-soaps of the 90s, where normal people sort of got 50 minutes of fame, this is brought it up to date. This is like modern documentaries where people live their life like an open wound to get another 15 minutes of fame. And Warwick Davis plays a twisted version of himself. He really was in all those films, but his career's on the slide. He's going through a messy divorce. He's got a terrible accountant, so he's got a £250,000 tax bill, and so he does this documentary.
And he runs a dwarf talent agency.
Yeah, which he does in real life. He does in real life. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny about that. He does in real life. In real life, it's called Willow, which is named after his famous role. Well, we've got one fan. She's going to be loving it. She likes the premise, let alone the... and in this one, it's called Dwarves for Hire. A little bit more on the nose. But in this one, of course, he's exploiting the other little people, and he's taking all their jobs for himself. So it's not a comedy about a guy being short. It's about...
She'd be happy with
you
that.
Just like the word short.
So I'm just thinking of Willow.
Easy. See, I spent a lot of time on this. I didn't have to. I could just show pictures of dwarves.
Is it a load of dwarf jokes?
Yeah.
Done. Sold.
No, but it's about him having a small man complex. She laughed at small. She laughed at the word small.
Small,
tiny,
and short.
tiny.
Okay. All right.
Have a listen to his little clip. It's a short 12-second clip, and this is Warwick Davis in conversation with another dwarf.
The director's furious, he wants to fire you.
It's not my fault, I don't know the song.
You're a dwarf, how can you not know hi-ho, hi-ho?
And something about whistling.
You don't know whistle while you work?
I've never heard it before.
How is this possible?
I don't know.
What, you were just talking to Jessica about...
Yes, I've just
America.
realised that in America, dwarf is a derogatory term.
No, you're supposed to say little person.
Yeah, exactly, which we do here as well, but dwarf is okay here as long as they have dwarfism. It's a specific type of little person.
This is going on
Midget
HBO.
is out.
Midget, you
is the
cannot
M-word.
say
That
that.
is- That's
That
the
is
M
the
word.
worst thing
That's
you could
terrible.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, but and
It's going on HBO, isn't it?
yeah, well, they were concerned about it, but I think they know that it's it's set in England, and we're never using it in a derogatory way. We're it's people.
But a midget is different from a dwarf.
Well, yeah, dwarfism specific. A midget is, I think, officially. We've just said you can't say it, and we've said it about 15 times. The M word is to do with someone being under a certain height and perfectly proportions due to. I don't know. Go into
And just
it.
be clear,
Anyway,
we're not laughing at short people. We're laughing at language.
Of course we are.
like
Of
mini
course
me is a midget.
Yeah, well, I don't know. As in the show, Warwick Davis says, "I don't know what he is." He said, "I'm all for being short." He said, "But he's taking it too far." Right? No, we're not laughing. We're not in the show. We're not laughing at being short or short people.
And we're not doing that now.
Of course not. Of course, we're not doing it now. No, this is a grown-up show. We're not laughing on it. She was.
I was
weren't.
not. I was laughing at you. When your face. when you were talking about it.
It's a
This has
grown-up
done
show.
me no good at all.
I know.
The people who are already up in arms about it could be offensive. Who don't know, of course it's not offensive. Yeah, they are. People say, "Oh, is this?" They say it for two reasons. One, because it's got a little person in it. They assume it has to be cruel or nasty or laughing at his expense. Once again, like we're exploiting him, like we paid him in magic beans as opposed to him being, an executive producer. And two, I think it's because I've got this reputation as a shock comedian, which I've never been. I've seen The Office, they've seen extras, and still they think, oh, it's going to be awful and nasty and exploitative, which is not in the slightest.
Okay, just final question before you go. Are you going to do the Golden Globes
Dwarf
again?
is a funny word, though.
It is a funny word.
Because it's antiquated. So even though it's just a funny word because it's sort of been mugged and used.
By Snow White.
Exactly.
Yeah, the word is funny.
Exactly. Snow White is a fictional character,
7.
though, by the way.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's not technically. Yeah. Carl gets a lot of his information from fairy tales, Planet of the Apes, and the Flintstones.
Have you
Just
been
like religious fundamentalists. A lot of them get a view of the world
They don't
based
get that-
on the Flintstones, where dinosaurs roamed with man.
Although Flintstones would technically predate the creation of the biblical Earth, wouldn't they?
How dare you?
Yes, they would. You're right.
How dare
You're very
you?
right. No, he's
Blasphemy. The Earth is 5,000 years old.
Did you?
That's scientifically proven.
It is. The science is in the Bible.
Exactly, yeah.
Did you? What more evidence do you need? Do you know? At the end of the Golden Globes, when you closed it by saying "Thank you, God, for making me an atheist,"
Yeah.
did you get a kind of? We were talking earlier about the people online on very vicious these days. What was the reaction to that? Did you?
Oh, how dare I? How dare I mention
Do you
the
get
word?
violent threats?
Oh, well, I don't know. I doubt. I think you don't read forums, but no, of course not. No, it's a few people that think that it was disgusting and out of place. One, it was a play on words. Thanks God for making us. So I'm acknowledging the God, and why do you make me anything? Of course, right? That's the joke. But also, it was a reaction to everyone at award shows who thanks God because they won that award. Like he hasn't got better things to do. You've got earthquakes, famine. Hold on, no, I want it to go to her. Yeah, nice one. It's also saying thank you God, right? Like. He had something to do with it because you needed it. So one, you didn't deserve it, but he pulled a few strings. You know, it's ludicrous to thank God for anything. I mean, as an atheist, it's ridiculous. But even if you believe in God, it's strange that he would choose to. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, well, I thought when people pray to get better exam results, so I do think, well, you know, why would he pick you over someone else anyway?
And also, why you pray? He knows what you think. He knows everything. He's all powerful.
That's true.
So it's pointless.
Are you going to do have you been offered the Globes?
No, NBC want me to do it, but they will never persuade the Hollywood Foreign Press. They hate me. I think it's because I introduced the president as saying I just helped him off the toilet and popped his teeth in. So that could be why. Also,
Jessica,
I don't think
do you live in Hollywood? Do you live in LA?
Yeah. Yep.
Are they sensitive to those sorts of jokes over there?
Well, you know, there is something about the California peace, love,
being positive.
Smile. Yeah,
it's not that. It's because the award shows are meant to be mutual backslapping. Everyone saying how brilliant everyone else is, as long as they say how brilliant you are. And I made a decision. Do I pander to the 200 most privileged people in the world in the room, or the 200 million people watching at home? Award shows are boring and pointless. They are not a spectator sport. So I tried to make it one.
Are you saying the Hollywood Press Association have blocked it? NBC said yes, and they've blocked it. They've just said no, you're not doing it.
Well, they said that at the time, and I don't think they'd be persuaded. I think they want their own little industry, and they want to celebrate, and that's fine.
Okay.
But I'm not the man for the job.
Ricky, thanks for coming in. Thanks for staying so long.
My pleasure.
It's always tremendous. Great.
I'm eating into your
talking to
time. Give us some extra time. No, she's got to try and backpedal about laughing at.
No, it wasn't me. It was the face you were making.
Yeah.
There's a webcam there. So, thank you.
Too many people
Bye-bye,
have heard
nice
that.
to meet you.
Remind us when Abroad starts again. When's it start?
Tomorrow, 23rd.
Tomorrow.
Friday, 9 o'clock, Sky.
You've got to see The Debt.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Ricky. Bye bye.